to want to bundle up. And for a few of us as early as Sunday, I mean, I think 40s is pretty chilly, and that we're seeing that Sunday morning. But the 30s Monday morning, Morgan, that is why I know it. That is why we have a WFAA weather alert. Specifically for Monday morning, that's going to be the period that is going to be the coldest on the 14-day. The impact, coldest year of the season. Low temperatures in the 30s with wind chills in the 20s likely. What you need to do at this point is make sure to stay updated. Make sure to have WFAA Plus on your TV. That is our streaming platform. We keep that updated constantly. And be sure to locate those jackets, the sweaters. You want to make sure to bundle up. I did pull out the jacket a few times already this year, so I know exactly where mine is. But if you haven't, be sure to locate that, because by Monday morning, it's going to look like this. Wind chills will be in the 20s. So as you get the kids ready for school, you definitely need to make sure that they are layered up. 36 for the low in Dallas, 35 in Fort Worth, 36 for Denton, McKinney, 35 in Decatur. I do think a few locations, especially outside of the city and closer to the Red River, we will have very close to freezing temperatures with 33 degrees at Bowie. Now, normal this time of the year, the normal low is 48, so we will be well below that. The record for Monday morning is 26. That happened in 1950. I do not expect temperatures to drop that low. I do think that we will stay above freezing, but the wind chills could certainly be in the 20s. So that first front comes through. It's going to help bring in slightly drier air in place. And this happens Friday afternoon. This is not going to impact any Friday night football games because we're staying rain free. Look, any of the rain stays well to the east. With that second front, though, it comes in. It arrives sometime Saturday evening, and that's when the cooler, drier air starts to filter in. So that is going to hold off until Saturday night. That's when the initial cold temperatures will move in. Until then, the mornings will still be mild in the upper 60s and upper 50s and low 60s, with a high near 82 on Thursday, 81 on Friday, and 80 on Saturday. This is about 10 to 12 degrees warmer than what's considered normal for this time of the year. That first front doesn't do much to our temperature. It's the second front that drops our high from 80 to 58 degrees on Sunday. So we go from 11 degrees above normal to 11 degrees cooler than normal. We stay on that trend through Monday with a high of 56. That's 13 degrees cooler than normal. It is very short-lived for us because by Tuesday afternoon, the temperature, it climbs back to about 70 degrees and it goes up from there. Right now, though, don't worry about the cold just yet. Just prep for it. We do have clear skies, blue skies overhead, a temperature of 75 degrees right now. Our day planner shows us climbing to about 80 degrees by 82 degrees, the high temperature today. That happens between 3 and 4 this afternoon with the southwest wind at 10 to 20. Temperatures dropping into the mid 70s by 8, 71 degrees by midnight. 83 the high today in Denton, 80 in McKinney, 81 for Decatur. A lot of locations making it to the 80s today. Very few will stay in the 70s. I think most of North Texas makes it into the 80s. The record is 89, so we're nowhere close to record heat, but we are certainly well above what's considered normal. We won't see much change in our pollen count, still considered high for ragweed and for juniper. It's just that time of the year. We won't see a big change until we see our first freeze of the season, which generally we do see in November, but it won't be the case for us here on the 14-day. We just have that cold snap Sunday and Monday. After that, temperatures back to usual and into the upper 70s by the following Friday.
Some big changes to note compared to yesterday. We've seen some increase in cloud cover that is keeping our temperatures just a couple degrees below where they were yesterday. We're in the upper 70s for your lunch hour, 77 at the big airport, 77 for Galveston, 78 Brenham and Tomball. Pearland is at 78 as well. Your Thursday snapshot features the low 80s for this afternoon, and then when the sun goes down, we will quickly cool things off. We'll be at 70 degrees by 9 o'clock tonight in case you have some late Thursday plans. But the heat is back with a vengeance for our Friday and Saturday. We are pushing close to 90 degrees. But don't worry, there's going to be a sharp drop in temperatures by the start of our work week. What I like to call weather whiplash, from 88 degrees down to 42 Monday morning. It is going to be very, very chilly. So where is that cold air right now? It's certainly not in Texas. Current temperatures show we've got heat all across the Lone Star State. But a gaze up at north states like the Dakotas, all the way towards Wisconsin, even down to Chicago, shows that cold pool of air is starting to stack up, and eventually it'll get to us. We just have to have this high pressure area system budge. So here's the breakdown right now. There's the jet stream, which is pulling in the cold air from Canada in spots like Minneapolis, I said that a little funny, like down to St. Louis, to Chicago. Now, eventually, as high pressure starts tracking towards the west, it creates an opening for this jet stream to buckle, and that opening will push in a cold front. And when I say cold, I mean it. Look at the drop in temperatures. We're going to have freezing conditions for OKC, for Nashville, below freezing for St. Louis, for a good chunk of Missouri, down to Arkansas. For Texas, we get close in the Panhandle, 39 in Amarillo. Dallas scrapes the 30s come Monday morning. Us here in Houston will be in the low 40s, which is not freezing, but it is definitely chilly. Now, this front is not going to bring us rain, which is a bit of a problem when we start talking about the drought monitor. You'll notice the state really needs some rain, and this is the latest update that was released to us this morning, which shows our western cities and counties, Colorado, Washington, down to Austin, starting to see some spots with extreme drought. So we will definitely be on the lookout for incoming rain. Unfortunately, with this go around, we are not going to get it. Live look outside from the Gulf Freeway looking back towards downtown. I've been looking at this camera shot all day, and it looked really foggy this morning, which likely delayed your commute. Luckily, those clouds have lifted. Now they're overhead. The breeze is light. It's out of the south at 6 miles an hour, and that is pumping in humidity. So you'll notice the cloud cover is a measure of that moisture, and the dew point is a number that we look at that also measures moisture. When we're in the 50s, we're comfortable. When we're in the 60s, we're just starting to see a little bit too much moisture settling in, and that does have an impact on how it feels. So 77 actually feels like 79 right now. Your afternoon high manages to make it up to 83, so that's the warmest spot in the day. I think we'll get there right around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then Friday and Saturday, full steam ahead. Both days will be in the upper 80s, which for context is very close to record temperatures for this time of year. The record to tie or beat is 89, so we are right there, and we are nowhere near what's normal for us this time of year, which should be 76 degrees. Hey, still nice and comfortable though today if you want to be out and about enjoying the weather. Sunset time is at 5:30 though, so yes, the days are pretty short. So as we see that transition from the upper 80s to the 40s Monday morning, we're going to have wind really kicking up from the north. So a breezy day through and through for your Sunday. Gusts are at 25 to 30 miles an hour for morning, afternoon, through the evening. That's a snapshot at 11 p.m. on Sunday, and it's still windy. Even into our Monday, some of that wind carries over, but gusts will start to reduce a little bit. So if you had, any weekend plans that you wanted to have outdoors and you had the choice between Saturday or Sunday, well, you are going to be warm on Saturday, but otherwise it's a pretty mild day. On Sunday, it's chilly, 68, which you might enjoy. You could dress for the fall, but it's also going to be really, really windy. So not a good day for picnics or, having things outside that might blow away. The Texans game, though, you are going to be tailgating for, and I'm so excited as we cheer on the Jags. Just know that you are going to want to have some layers, because 60s throughout the morning into the afternoon with wind will make it feel a little cooler than that. It'll probably feel like the upper 50s. Overnight temperatures are going to be a really considerable shift when we get that front. So remember, the wind kicks in on Sunday, and by Monday morning, we are seeing that cold north air in southeast Texas. So 42 degrees, that will be your overnight temperature. So waking up, starting off the work week on a chilly note. Waking up again on our Tuesday, which is Veterans Day, will be on a cool note as well in the 40s. Enjoy that, because by Wednesday, we start regulating our temperatures. So we're back up into the upper 50s, then 60 degrees by Thursday. That's already above average for this time of year. So yes, we get a shot of cold air, but it's not going to stick around for too long. That was a lot to walk you through. There are a lot of changes in the 7-day forecast. So let me give you a quick synopsis here one more time in case you're just joining us. So for today, we're pretty mild. We had some early morning fog, that's gone. Now we're just looking at a high of 83 degrees with some cloud cover. Friday and Saturday, those are really warm days. You'll notice the increase in temperatures and in humidity. That is ahead of a front that is going to reset those fall temperatures. Sunday is windy as that front rolls in and the north air is streaming down to southeast Texas. By Monday, we get the coldest shot of the air, 42 degrees to start, and the high only makes it up to 60. So most of your Monday is spent in the 50s. Veterans Day Tuesday for the parades, for honoring your family members. We're going to have a beautiful day. Nice cool start. In the afternoon, though, we get up to 67 degrees. That's perfect for fall. A little below average for Houston, but we'll take it because, well, we're used to a lot of heat. Plenty of sunshine. By Wednesday, we start to regulate those temperatures. So we'll be in the upper 50s for overnight temperatures, and then those highs get into the upper 70s.
So let's talk about the forecast, and we'll start off with Veterans Day next Tuesday, November 11th. By that time, it's going to be a completely different weather pattern moving into south central Texas. We're looking at the morning time frame. Morning lows likely bottoming out in the upper 30s and lower 40s in San Antonio with a high temperature of 72 next Tuesday. So a lot better in the weather forecast next week because in the meantime, it's going to get pretty warm today, tomorrow, and on Saturday. Matter of fact, we have record heat in the forecast, which we'll show you in a second. First, out the door, 77 at the airport, 79 at Stinson. Winds are from the southwest at about 7 or from the south, depending on where you are. Based on this particular map, you can see more of a southerly wind flow for Bexar County. 77 at Helotes, same thing at the airport. 79 at Lackland, a couple of degrees warmer towards Floresville, Stockdale, Seguin at 81 at this hour. Near 90 already in Creases Springs, so they're likely going to top out at 90 to 91. So this forecast is going to get a little hotter for areas southwest of Bexar County. I think San Antonio tops out around 84 to 85 later this afternoon. Lower 80s for the Hill Country, 85 at Karnes City, and about 85 over in Gonzales. So it's going to be a warm day for your Thursday under a mostly sunny sky and mostly clear conditions. Now here's the roller coaster. So tomorrow 89, 90 on Saturday. By the way, tomorrow on Saturday likely going to either tie or break records. Based on this forecast, we break records both days into the early part of the weekend, and then here comes the fall off. Sunday morning early, pre-dawn is when the front moves in, and that's what's going to help drop temperatures back down to below average, lower 70s, upper 60s. For Sunday and Monday into next week. Tomorrow morning, expect a little fog. Some visibility is down to about a half a mile, so be very careful. Leave a little extra early tomorrow morning because fog will be more widespread and more dense in some areas along I-35 and also south and southeast of San Antonio. National temperatures, a lot colder across the northern tier of the U.S. and even into Canada. They're looking at temperatures right now, early afternoon hours in the 30s right now. You can see Salt Lake City at 56. Phoenix at 77, same thing in San Antonio, 80 in Jacksonville, Florida, and 45 towards Toronto. All right, here's our weather forecast and the change that derives. Look at this. This model says 92 on Saturday. First half of the weekend, going to be more summer-like, lower 90s in San Antonio. Front drops in Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, a lot more windy, and that's going to help produce an elevated fire weather concern Sunday into Monday. Avoid any outdoor burning or driving over tall grass. The drought, the gusty winds, the lower humidity, it's not going to make for a good combination in south central Texas. And there's those weather impact alerts. So Sunday afternoon, the alert is for the fire weather concern. Monday morning and early Tuesday for Veterans Day, lower 40s, and that means mid 30s for the Hill Country, and wind chills could be colder than that as daytime highs don't get warmer than 64 to 65 on Monday afternoon. Looks pretty good.
And we're taking a live look from our Oasis weather camera right there over Lake Travis. And we're going to talk a little bit more about our lake levels because Lake Travis is at 81%. Lake Buchanan still holding strong at 95%. And that's because we have a new drought monitor that has been updated. And if you remember from last week, there was an improvement over some sections of the coastal plains to that severe drought from that extreme drought. But unfortunately, we have Fayette County, LaGrange, now falling back into that extreme level of drought, and even worse so, portions of the Hill Country are now in that moderate level of drought. So not good news, even though we did get some good rain in some spots that did allow the Austin Metro and other portions of the coastal plains to hold steady in terms of a drought perspective. Right now we're at 76 at both the airport as well as Camp Mabry, and we expect to be a little bit warmer over the next couple of days. And when I say a little bit, I mean around 90 for a high, which would be record-breaking. Upper 70s for most of the Austin metro, and as we zoom this out a little wider, we do have some lower 70s still in Gillespie County, but it's mostly mid to upper 70s across the entirety of the KVUE area. Allergy count, grass and mold are medium and high respectively. Fall elm, ragweed are low. You can find that each and every day on KVUE.com and the KVUE app. We've got that zonal flow like I've talked about, but that ridge of high pressure is going to build off to the Intermountain West. And we have this frontal system that'll make its way through as we head through Saturday evening into early Sunday. And what that's going to allow for is a pretty stiff cool down over the next several days. Highs today getting to around 84, and we're going to zoom all the way to tomorrow afternoon because look at that. This model is printing out 91, which would break a daily heat record at Camp Mabry. Saturday, same thing. The record highs both days are 89, and according to this particular model, we have both of those days breaking a daily heat record. But behind that front, look at this. Monday 37, Tuesday 39. These are your morning lows, and for what it's worth, the earliest first 32 degree or below days in Austin all time, number one, October 26th. So we're already past that top 5. So we're getting close to par for the course for this time of year on whether or not we should have a below freezing start to the day. But here it is. Highs may not even get to 50 on Monday as well before getting to near 70 for your Veterans Day and then lower 80s once again for your Wednesday. So, yep, temperature whiplash any way you look at it.
Great weather in store, good patio weather, maybe if you have something to obstruct you from the wind that is just a little bit annoying today. But teeny tiny little changes in the forecast ahead of some bigger changes. Teaser there. Over the weekend, we have 2 fronts to talk about and some cold weather on the way. Right now, though, trending warm and dry once again, just a bit breezy at times out of the south. You can see the flags there at half-mast at KIII Regional. Sunny skies in place, 76 degrees already, almost 80 degrees, and it's not even noon, so you know what that means. It is going to get quite warm again just for a few hours this afternoon. Sunset so early at this point. By the way, if you didn't get to check out the supermoon the past 2 nights, it's still big and beautiful. I saw it even this morning as the sun was rising and I was driving the kiddos to daycare. Like, it is still so big and beautiful. Just something to note there. And during this quiet weather pattern we're seeing right now, temperatures right now basically 75, 77 degrees at most, but rising still. 76 in Marlin right now. Sustained winds up to 15 miles an hour. So likely we do see some 20 mile an hour gusts throughout the day today. You can see a pair of cold fronts there, both of which are going to impact us eventually. Now, the one that is stalled out basically at 20 corridor will not be here in central Texas until tomorrow evening, and we're not going to notice very much about it. It's just going to really flow in terms of our winds. They'll just be a different direction. We're not going to see a big temperature impact. Sunny skies in place, obviously. High temperatures this afternoon, going to go up another 10 degrees or so. Some of our far western counties could even get close to that 90-degree mark this afternoon, believe it or not. We bottom out about 60, 62 degrees. We'll be feeling pretty good when we wake up on Friday morning. I mentioned it could be breezy at times, up to 20 miles an hour, especially as we roll on into the overnight hours. Here's front number 1. So it gets here again, not going to bring us a big temperature impact. We could be slightly cooler when we wake up Saturday morning, but overall we're just going to see that northerly wind in place, brisk at times. Saturday afternoon, ridiculously warm before the front gets here. Want to pay attention to this right here. When the front gets here, we're going to see 30, 35 mile an hour gusts throughout the day on Sunday. It will not be here, the strong one, until Saturday night when a lot of us are going to sleep. So the temperature impact is going to be Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. You can see very warm the next couple of days. This afternoon, 80s. Tomorrow afternoon, 80s. Saturday afternoon. And by the way, some of us could hit 90 degrees Friday afternoon. That is crazy. I think the record is 92, by the way. Saturday, we will be very warm ahead of the wind shifting out of the north. And then again, it will be windy and much cooler when we wake up on Sunday. The temperature impact is going to lag behind a little bit. So Sunday morning lows aren't going to be that low. There will be a wind chill factor though. And then Sunday afternoon, we struggle to even hit 60 degrees. So big change on the way. Monday and Tuesday morning, likely we're in the 30s, feeling like we're in the 20s. So warm and dry next couple of days. It does get windy as we roll on into Sunday. You see, there's a fall and a little taste of winter too. Going to be quite chilly, even for Veterans Day morning, Jasmine.
Here's a look at your weather forecast. Now, what we are tracking is not good. Drought
Drought conditions have worsened across much of the watershed and into the coastal bend. We are seeing much more of this orange color and the tan color than we have been seeing through the month of October. And of course, our lake levels only continue to fall as well. So our drought conditions are worsening in terms of our soil moisture, and our lake levels are only falling at this point, and they're already extremely low. So 10.6% Choke Canyon, 12.6% Lake Corpus Christi. Combined, that's 11.1. It has fallen by 0.2% since the last week and 1% in the last month. And so you can see the drought conditions, what we are dealing with across Jim Wells County and into areas through Kingsville. Severe drought. Moderate drought has pretty much taken over the coastal bend. Last week, we still had some abnormally dry conditions showing up. That's not really the case. And when we take a look at our rainfall, we're ranked the 12th lowest rainfall from this same time last year. So from this time last year all the way, we go around the entire year to now 2025, we are seeing some of the lowest rainfall we've ever seen. Again, it's ranked 12th. The last time we had numbers this low was 2011. And before that, 2009, which the already low conditions leading into 2011 essentially intensified that drought dramatically. We had red showing up across almost the entire Lone Star State during the year 2011. It was one of the worst droughts, if not the worst drought on record, and it's definitely the worst drought that I can remember in my lifetime. And now we're encroaching on that territory. When it comes to rainfall, there's not much rain. In fact, there's really no rain expected in Texas through the upcoming week. What we are going to see is a weather pattern that shapes up. You can see the ridge, the high pressure ridge over the southwest, and then a low pressure trough over the east. And so the eastern United States sees a chance of rain. The Midwest sees a chance of rain. I think there may even be some snow soon in the forecast of that direction. With this cold front that's set to move through over the weekend, Texas, we will see the dry air usher in, but there's not a lot of hope for rain. You see right along the coast, we could see a few little showers, but when I show you on Futurecast, it's not going to add up to much. So we are warm and humid on Saturday. We could actually make a record high in the 90s Friday and Saturday. The cold front swings through into Sunday morning, and we'll continue to see windy conditions behind the front as that dry air is being ushered in, which, as I've been mentioning, intensifies our fire danger. When it comes to temperatures, sweater weather will return. Monday and Tuesday morning, you could even want your winter coat because we're talking 40s, also windy conditions. Still, especially Monday morning, we'll have to keep an eye on that wind chill. Muggy meter, dramatically dry Monday. Be ready to have the lotion ready, but also that's why our fire danger is so high. And finally, at the beach, we're also watching wave action pick up, windy conditions pick up, dangerous rip current risk, but also rough conditions at sea and a chance for some minor coastal flooding. Low tide will be around lunchtime, and that tide will only go up heading into the evening. But look at that view right now at the beach. Barbie and Lexus showed that earlier, and I was like, that is where I want to be today. We have great beach weather today, tomorrow, and Saturday, but again, conditions turn a bit rough on Sunday.